Hi, I'm Brittany Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms, Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it. Happy Monday, everyone. I can't believe we're on Monday. My brain can't seem to catch up. As some of you know, it is 2025. Not that some of you know, we are in 2025, but this is my first show for 2025. So I'm super excited to have you, Brittany, here. Randomly, both Brittany. So...
It's a good name.
It is a good name. Welcome to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. I'm your host, Brittany Ashley, and we are broadcasting live on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 and New Orleans. So I'm so excited to start breaking down some interesting norms and also just our conversations today with you, Brittany. I'll do a quick little background on who you are, and then you can just tell the listeners on who you are more. I don't like doing a long intro.
No worries. You're good. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited. So everyone, this is Brittany. Brittany is a devoted psychic medium, tarot card reader, energy healer, and channeler with a deep passion for helping others reconnect with themselves. She empowers individuals to embrace self-love, nurture their mind, body, and spirit, and unlock their highest potential. With her unique background as a high school teacher, kinesiology, I did it, and fitness trainer, Brittany combines education with holistic healing to support others on their spiritual journey. So I'm so excited to have you today. As I already mentioned to you prior, you're my first guest for 2025. So I'm super pumped that you're my first guest for 2025. And I'm just excited to have our conversation today.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to just dive into conversation. It's an honor to be your first guest of 2025. I like that. Starting off the new year, hopefully on a good note. Yeah, I'm just excited to dive into conversation, see where conversation takes us today. And yeah, it's an honor to be here. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. Well, maybe I know I did my little bio on you, but maybe you can just kind of tell us more. Who is Brittany and how you started your journey?
No, yeah, I appreciate that. That's always like, asking somebody, who are you? I feel like in today's day and age, we're so quick to put a label like, oh, I'm a high school teacher, or I'm this, or I'm that. And I feel like that's something that I've been kind of thinking and reflecting on. I'm like, who am I? I feel like we are, as humans, just we can be so many different people. We can wear so many different hats. So a few of the hats that I like to put on, as you said, I'm a psychic medium. So I do like mediumship readings, connecting to like past loved ones. I do psychic readings, tarot readings, that sort of a thing. But my journey didn't start there. I mean, it started a long time ago. I was a high school teacher for about 5 years. And yeah, around that time, I was at a place in life where I just knew that I wasn't meant to be a teacher anymore. And I didn't know what else I was supposed to do, though. And then life happened. The universe threw a few curveballs at me. A big catalyst in my life was a really big breakup, if I'm being completely honest. And that breakup really made me step back and reflect on everything. I was like, okay, why am I doing this? Like, why am I in a job that is not really fulfilling? Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed working with the kids and that sort of a thing. But it really made me question everywhere. It made me question everything in life. And what I really came to realize is a lot of what I was doing, I was not necessarily doing for myself. Mm-hmm. I was doing because of societal pressure. It's like I was forced to go to university straight from high school. And I was like, okay, I'll be a teacher. Sure, that's a good job. the way society kind of makes us feel is like, okay, in order to be successful, you have to follow this certain path, right? So I realized that I was following the path that was expected of me from society, expected of me from my parents. And that breakup just really made me question all of it. And I realized, like, no, like, this is not what brings me joy. This is not what fulfills me. And at the time, I was actually in a master's program for counseling, and I made the decision to drop out of the master's program, and I started just pursuing my passions. I've always really been into spirituality. I mean, I was raised very, very Catholic, and that's a story in and of itself. But, you know, I have respect for all religions, but personally, I don't like to conform to any religion. I mean, I still have a relationship with God and all of those things, but it has really morphed and shifted over the years. And yeah, I love tarot. I started getting into that. So I just started pursuing my passion just because I wanted to, and because it really brought me joy. And as a result of that, essentially, it changed my life. I sold all of my things. I went traveling for a while because my intuition told me to go traveling, and a bunch of things internally shifted as a result of that, which, I mean, I know I'm saying the story in a really small, like in a nutshell, but that eventually got me to where I am today. So I just encourage people listening to walk the path less traveled. You know, if your intuition is calling you in a certain direction, even if it doesn't logically make sense, listen to it, because there's a reason you're being kind of pulled in those other directions. But, you know, acknowledging that it can be very difficult to do that, especially in the society we live in, when there's just so much expectation and pressure, I feel, put on us at such a young age. And that's something I really saw in the school system when I was teaching the high school students. So many youth just feel like, okay, in order to be successful, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And it's like, well, take a minute to discover who you are first, you know, like take a minute to discover who you are. Because I feel like a lot of people talk about, you know, when they get into their 40s, 50s, quote unquote, a midlife crisis. And I don't know why I'm diving into that all of a sudden, but I feel like I had my midlife crisis in my 20s, where I kind of really started to question everything. So if you're going through a midlife crisis right now, I actually think it's a very exciting thing, regardless of the age. You know, listen to your intuition, let it lead you. And I'm telling you, it'll take you to where you want to go, even if you don't necessarily know what that looks like, if that makes sense. I feel like I just went on a rant there, but I'll leave.
I love it. No, I love it. And I feel like, going back to just society in itself, like, we're just kind of expected to go to school, university, college, whichever, and then go find those regular 9-to-5 jobs and just live in that corporate kind of setting. But really, society's changing. I'm excited to see how my little ones kind of venture off and where they want to go. But going back to like myself too, and the journey that I've been through, it was like a whirlwind. I've always, like, it's an ongoing joke that I could have been like a doctor, because I've always thought that I need to be into university or all these things. And so I took all these courses to end up being an entrepreneur, which in my brain just feels like looking back on it, like I wouldn't even be able to tell myself 10 years, like back in the day, being like, don't worry, like things will come in full tuition. But it takes time sometimes, and you have to take those it's hard to take those leaps, really.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. We're programmed to expect instant gratification, right? It's like, if we're uncomfortable with something, we want to see that change right here, right now. And when it comes to this sort of thing, there is no such thing as instant gratification. It's the long game, right? And it's learning how to let go of the need for instant gratification, and understanding that anything worthwhile really takes patience. But again, because of the society we've grown up in, it's difficult for a lot of people, and a lot of people will give up on certain things will give up quickly because they're not seeing the results as quickly as they think they should be seeing the results. So that's another thing I really like to talk about too. You know, it's like wait for that delayed gratification, be patient, know that you're exactly right where you're supposed to be. And at the end of the day, there's purpose to everything, you know, even though like I was a teacher for 5 years and I'm like, that's not where I was meant to stay. There was purpose to it at that time. And I am grateful for everything that I have experienced. So that's another thing too. People feel like they need to rush to the next thing, you know, or once they feel like stuck or stagnant or uncomfortable, they're like, okay, let's get rid of this discomfort. Let's find something else right here, right now. And it's like, okay, slow down. The discomfort is simply teaching you, it's showing you that maybe you're not meant to stay here. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to get rid of that discomfort right away. But yeah, sorry, that's a whole other thing I could go on a complete tangent on. So,
and I feel like sometimes when certain things happen within the moment, we're like, oh, why did it happen to me? Or what, like, just like get down in the dumps, which, yeah, some things are really hard and it takes time to come back up from it. But looking back on like my past experience, like I know that some people are like, oh, well, you should have done X, Y, and Z. But I'm like, no, I wouldn't have changed anything. Looking back on it, it's made me who I am today. And it's made me appreciate a lot more as well.
Exactly. I think they say hindsight is 20/20 for a reason, right? Like going back to that breakup that I was talking about, that was a huge catalyst for me at the time. It was really hard. It was devastating. I was living with the person. I thought we were going to get married. And now I'm like, thank God that breakup was the best thing that's ever happened to me. It liberated me. It freed my soul, and it allowed me to really pursue what I wanted to pursue. You know, it's important to feel the human emotions, right? We're human at the end of the day. And when things might seem jolting or sudden, or when the universe, God, source, whatever higher power you believe in, pulls the rug out from underneath you, it can be confusing. But I always just like to recenter into the heart space and just remind myself, like, even though it's difficult right now, I know that there is purpose to this. And even if I don't understand the purpose right now, I know that I will eventually. I will see it. Hindsight is 20/20. So it's just like giving yourself what you need at that time, feeling what you need to feel. But it's important not to get trapped in that victim mentality either, because I feel like a lot of people do that. And then that just, keeps you in that loop of negativity, which is not so great either.
Yeah, like I just kept always getting pushed into my business career dynamics. Like I would do, is that a cat behind you or a squirrel?
Oh, you're seeing the reflection of my cat. Yeah, she's in front of me here, but you could see the reflection. She's a little maniac. So yeah, you might see her running around in the background.
But like what I was just going to say, I always just kept getting pushed back into my business. Like I would kind of I got out of the tech industry and I was like, oh, what do I want to do in my life? And no matter what, like I just kept getting pushed back into it. And like, finally I had like this, why am I being so resistant to this change? Like, why am I so hesitant to not want to step into this? And then finally, right before COVID, I was like, let's just do it. I went full into it. And I've just never really looked back, and even trying to like comprehend to go back or changing into what my old habits were. I'm like, no, I can't. Like it gives me a sense of joy, and like doing the radio show, meeting people like you. Like it just like fills me up. And so
I love that.
Makes me so excited to see like what's new, what's coming. And so you have, was there any kind of pivotal moments in your transition that were like, because I know you said you followed your gut.
Yeah, there definitely was. I mean, the one that really started everything was the breakup. That was the biggest catalyst to me. That forced me to kind of stop, take a step back, and really reflect and question everything. Really question my motivations. And the key to this is being honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, no change can happen. And often it is easier not to be honest with yourself, which is why people will find themselves stuck and stagnant, because they're not willing to reflect honestly. But going back to what I was saying, the breakup was the biggest catalyst, and it pushed me into reflection. I ended up, I was living with the guy, moved out, got my own apartment with a roommate. We rented an apartment together. And at that moment, I was like, okay, it's time to like go all in on me. And I really started to go all in on me, focus on me, mind, body, and spirit. And a few months later, I had the opportunity to quit my job as a teacher and kind of dive into readings full time. And I listened to my intuition. People thought that I was crazy because at the time I didn't have nearly the following that I have now. But that inner voice was like, this is what you're meant to do. When I tell you, like, barely anybody, like nobody really supported me. My sister believed in me. That was like the one person that did, but nobody really supported or believed in me. Not that they didn't want to, I want to make that clear. It's not that they didn't want to. But they were skeptical. In their eyes, they were like, what do you mean, Brittany? Like, you just landed your dream teaching position. And I literally just landed at the time my dream teaching position, which was full-time PE, which is what I've been working toward for these years now. So they were like, Brittany, you just landed your dream teaching position. Like, that's such a good, secure, stable job. You're in a master's program to become a school counselor down the road. Like, you have things set up. Like, you have summers off, you have benefits, you have all of the things, da, 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 da. And I was like, yeah, you're right. But like, that's not where my intuition is leading me. So I trusted that inner voice. And a month into my quote unquote dream teaching position, I gave my notice. And I didn't even tell my parents. I did not even tell my parents, because I was like, I just knew that I would get the negative energy back. And I was like, I kept it pretty quiet. I told a few people, and a few people, like my roommate, I love her. She's like a sister to me, but she kind of, it's like raising your eyebrows. Like, are you going to get enough readings? Like, da, 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 da. And anyways, I took the leap, and I'm grateful that I did, because I did get, the universe rewarded me. It's like, you have to be willing to take that risk first. A lot of people wait for like the quote unquote right time. Oh, when I get this, then I'll do it. Da, 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 da. And it's like, no, it's like, you need to kind of take, I'm not telling people to just quit their jobs, like those that are listening, but it's like, you need to be willing to listen to that inner voice and take the risk, right? What seems to be a risk. I didn't know what the results were going to be, but I listened to it. I did it. And as a result of that, I really started diving into like my online presence. I started my YouTube, I started my podcast, I started like those sorts of things. I started doing readings full time. And I did that for about a year. And on the like close to the 1 year, my roommate at the time moved out. So I was in the apartment on my own, and I had the ability to either stay and have the 2-bedroom on my own, which at the time, like when I first moved in, I wouldn't have been able to have afforded that. But then as the year progressed, because of all the work that I was doing, I was like, I'm at a place now where I can afford this if I want. And that logically would have been, the quote unquote right thing to do again. But my intuition was like, no, Brittany, you need to sell all of your things. You need to sell it all, and you need to go Airbnb hopping. And that's all I knew. I didn't know why. I didn't know like the purpose, but I was like, shit. I was like, okay, my intuition is calling me to take another leap of faith here. So I'm going to trust that. And I'm going to trust that. So I let go of the apartment. I sold all of my things because at the time I wasn't making enough money to, oh my God, my cat. I wasn't making enough money to pay rent and travel. So I was like, it's one or the other here. But because I started working on my own, I wasn't limited in space I'm trying to figure out the right words, because I did readings and they were online and stuff. I was able to take work with me essentially. So as a result of that, I sold all my things. I let go of the apartment and I started Airbnb hopping. And as a result of that was about 10 months, I want to say, or yeah, the remainder of that year was me hopping around primarily in California. I mean, I'm from Canada, so I went across the border. I've spent a lot of time in San Diego, and I went to a few other places as well, but that allowed for healing to happen, like deep transformational healing. So it's not what I thought was going to happen. I thought I was going to go and I was going to see these places and I was going to meet all of these people, da, 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 da. I thought my business was going to boom even more. That's not what happened at all. It allowed for healing to happen. And they say true healing can happen when you move out of, there's a quote that it's like, you can't heal in the place that caused the harm or something like that, if that makes sense. So as a result of me relocating, essentially, I was in a whole new environment. So many of these emotions started coming up. Deep healing started to transpire. And that's when my intuition again told me to stop working. And I was like, stop working. I was like, what do you mean? Like, you have me like spending all of this money traveling, Airbnb hopping, which was not cheap. I was like, what do you mean spend this money and not work to make any money in? Like, what are you talking about? But I listened to my gut. I listened to my intuition. I trusted it. I stopped working. And thank God I did, because I needed that time to dedicate to myself, because I was in such, like, I would be waking up crying almost every day. There was so much emotion and hurt or stuff that I needed to heal from, it was like I removed the bottle cap and it was finally ready to come out. And because I was on this journey, I was finally in an environment for me to do that. So I did that, and I went about 15 grand into the hole because I wasn't working. But 6 months later, a chunk of money came out to cancel that debt out. So yeah, like those are a few things that, were to answer your question. And then, a year later, I ended up coming back home. I lived with my parents for 2 months, and then this apartment opened up, and I moved in here, and I've been here for about a year now. It'll be about a year. It's about exactly a year now that I've been kind of like more settled. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I love that. And I find like that's what I'm trying to do this year is listen to I've been told I have really good intuition. I have my grandmother's intuition, a lot of people would say, and follow my inner gut and just kind of go for it. So last year I took a course called Trauma with Money. I'm almost done. But the radio show in itself and the Trauma with Money has been like such like a eye-opening experience and transformational shifts even for myself. Even taking the course too, like I'm like, how am I going to pay for this course? But my gut was like, just take it, just do it, just follow and step into that. And I was like, okie dokie, like where's this money gonna go? And like looking back on it, like I don't even regret it anymore because I've seen such of a change in myself too, and it's the path of where I want to kind of go as well.
Yeah. I feel like, when people want to see change in their lives, they try to make that change happen outside of themselves. And what a lot of people don't realize, as cheesy as it sounds, is change happens and has to start within you. Essentially, it's the healing journey. And it's healing from these past wounds, these limiting beliefs, whatever is people in the spiritual community call them blockages. Like, what blockages do I have? And it's healing those. It's so that you can release it so that they're no longer holding you back, because time is not actually linear the way we're experiencing it. I know quantum physics can explain that. I can't necessarily explain that for you, but it's all happening at the same time. Time actually moves forward and backwards. So these past wounds, people say, oh, time heals. No, not really. Time will it'll bury the wound, the emotion, but it's still there. And until you're willing to go back and heal that wound, no change really happens, which is why we see a lot of adult people who are essentially, I want to say, children in adult bodies, because there's a lot of wounds from the past that are still alive in them here and now, and those past wounds affect you in the present moment until you're willing to go back and heal them, remove those blockages, which essentially frees you in the here and now and allows you to move forward.
That's so true. Like just thinking like the journey of what I've just went through with Trauma with Money, they want the whole reason for any of the listeners why I'm taking Trauma with Money is because I am a business coach and I love Trauma with Money because the one issue I find with a lot of entrepreneurs is, for whatever reason, not paying their taxes or GST or bills on time. And to me, like, that's just like bananas, but I don't want to judge. How do I shift the judgment phase of learning more and ask more curious questions for me to step more in and being that safe place? And so that's why I took Trauma with Money. But I kid you not, like every class, I'm probably like bawling my eyes out.
That's good. Healing, releasing,
and inner reflection too. Like, oh, interesting. And so I'm sad for that course to come to an end, but like just thinking of like how much I've even just, because it started in September, just how much I've changed in that short time frame. Just letting, listening and let going, and like those blocks you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like once you're willing to go there, there's so much change that can happen in such a short period of time. Like it was similar for me too. Like the amount of change that transpired in such a small amount of time is crazy to me. Like wild. It's crazy. But it needs to start with you, the willingness to go there and allow the journey to guide you as opposed to you controlling it.
Yeah, that kind of leads into like, I'm just looking at our questions that we've kind of mapped out before. Just like the self-healing, like what are some practical steps for people can take to self-heal? Like I know I mentioned mine of taking Trauma with Money. Not everyone can take a course like that. And
I want to say like get reflective. Start to get really reflective on just your life and everything you've been through, just really questioning, okay, your motives behind things, and diving into your past traumas. Like start from when you were young. Like, do have a timeline, go through your whole life and note the significant, like, allow any memory to surface. And whatever memory is surfacing, trust that the memory is surfacing for a reason. And reflect on those instances and let yourself, it's like when memories come forward, they're not coming up for no reason. You know, sometimes memories come up out of nowhere. It's like, okay, your subconscious, your soul trying to kind of like bring something up, bring something to light for you. So I just say, get curious on your past with no judgment, but curiosity. Okay, why did this happen? And just, I just want to say reflect, and really starting there, allowing yourself to reflect, allowing yourself to just look back on everything that you've been through, again, with no judgment, but from a curious standpoint. And that will really just help you understand why you are the way you are. And also trusting that healing happens in layers, you know what I mean? And healing is going to look different for every single person. Like it's going to look different for every single person. So for some people, breath work might be really, really big. For other people, meditation might be really big. You know, there's so many different methods that you can use. You know, I want to say breath work, meditation, really taking time to slow down, quiet the mind. You know, we're so busy. We're so busy, whether we're working or there's always something that's, I feel, stimulating the brain, you know, whether it's the TV or this or that. It's like, take some time to quiet the mind and just sit in that stillness and see what comes up, because there's going to be things that come up eventually. But it's really allowing yourself the time and space for these things to surface. And a lot of people don't do that. And it's, again, because of the society we live in, right? You go to work, you drive your kids to wherever you got to drive your kids to, you come home, you're exhausted. All you want to do is make dinner, throw on the TV, maybe have a drink or whatever it may be. And we're not giving ourselves the ability to see what we need to see, because we're not sitting with ourselves. So that would be like the biggest thing, is start sitting with yourself, start quieting your mind. And it's not going to be easy. Like, that in and of itself is going to be uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to it. You're going to resist that. So get consistent with that first and foremost, and get reflective. Start really reflecting on your past. Another thing I like to do is, you know, I had a lot of body image issues for literally as long as I can remember. So what I'll do is I'll take a photo of myself when I was really struggling with body image and from when I was younger. And I look at that photo of myself and I write a letter to her, to that version of her. And I tell her everything that she needed to hear, that she didn't hear at that time. And literally in that process, I will start crying, you know, I start crying right here, right now. And I understand that it's that version of me that's crying. It's that version of me that's healing, that's releasing, because I'm giving that version of me what I needed. Because again, time's not linear. So you can go back in time. You could go back to that younger part of yourself intentionally, right? If you set time aside for it. And that's a practice right there that's been super transformative for me. And you can go back to any area of your life, right? Whether you have a picture or not. I like to have that image. I feel like it adds another layer, but know that that's not necessary either. And there's a few other things that I can recommend as well. Like what I do this right now. I have these dry erase markers, and on my mirror in my bathroom, I write love notes to myself. Like I'll write like, you're sexy, or like, you deserve miracles, you're deserving of love, or, you know, stuff like that. Another thing that I know might sound cheesy, but this is a big one, is looking yourself in the mirror and telling yourself, I love you. And I know a lot of people might be like, oh, Brittany, that's corny. I'm like, that will be a really good telltale sign of where you're at with yourself. If you feel discomfort in looking in the mirror and telling yourself that I love you and meaning it, there's some work there for you. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's like, don't judge yourself for it, but start to get curious. Why can't you look yourself in the eyes and tell yourself, I love you, and wholeheartedly mean it? There's, you know, something going on if you're unable to do that. And if you're unable to do that, that's okay. I recommend looking yourself in the mirror and saying something like, I'm learning to love you, because you you are worthy and I'm not going to give up on you. Saying stuff like that to yourself in the mirror as well. So I think I threw a few things out there, but I hope that kind of answers the question.
Yeah, I love that so much. For the course, they want us to do meditation. And my instant, like, I'm just reading this assignment last night. I'm not even joking that we're talking about this right now. And my first instinct is like, what do you mean you want me to meditate? Because I'm like, I have, for any new listeners, I have 2 young kids, ages 6 and 3. So, and then we have a husky. So why not throw more in the mix? Who's 1? And we have a crazy cat that's somewhere. Actually, I'm surprised he's not in the room with me. He's 2. And so I'm like constantly always on the go, moving in so many different directions. And I also am self-diagnosed with ADHD. I am diagnosed with dyslexia, but my brain can never turn off. And so when I was reading this yesterday, I was like, you want me to what now?
Yeah.
Meditate? Yeah. And I was like, you know what, Brittany? No. Like, that was my first instant of like, you want me to know? And then my brain, like, and this year is all about like, no, let's reposition my thought process and reposition how can I sit there and meditate for even a short time frame and turning things off, like social media, like TikTok. I find like TikTok's like my scapegoat sometimes of like turning my brain off for my ADHD. But sitting down and really meditate, I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. And so today, not tomorrow, today, I'm going to sit down and just even like 5 minutes and do like little steps of just seeing what that looks like and find what's my groove there.
Exactly. And you know what, if you don't mind, I'd love to talk about meditation for a moment, because a lot of people say exactly what you said. Like, you know, whether you're diagnosed or not diagnosed with ADHD, whatever it may be, like I myself have ADHD. So like, I get it, right? The mind is always like going, but it's taking those small steps. Start with 5 minutes. That's it. If 5 minutes, just do that, make that regular. Make that consistent. Show up for yourself. Show up for yourself for at least 5 minutes a day. And again, if you can't do that, get curious. Why am I unable to show up for myself for 5 minutes? Why is there so much resistance? And don't judge yourself, but again, get curious. And this is where the honesty needs to come into, right? Being honest with yourself in the reflection when you're answering these questions. But know that you can meditate. It might be very uncomfortable at first. It will be, especially because if you're not used to stilling the mind is probably going to run for those 5 minutes, even if it's just 5 minutes. That's okay. Let the thought come in. Thank you. Acknowledge the thought. Let it go. Another thought's going to come in. Acknowledge the thought. Let it go. And keep practicing that, because meditation, they call it a practice for a reason. It's like anything else in life, right? Like if you're a soccer player, the more you practice, the more consistent you're going to be, the better you're going to be. If you stop practicing, you're going to have some catching up to do when you start practicing again, right? And that's okay. It is what it is, but they call meditation a practice for a reason. It's a practice. It's not something that's just supposed to come easy. It doesn't come easy for me. Like even I go through moments too where it's like I'm resisting it. I'm like, why am I resisting this so much? Like, I know this is so good for me, you know? So yeah, just like you said, those small steps, starting small and then building upon that. Yes.
Yeah. So with anyone else listening, I get you.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it too this year, and I'm learning. I'm trying to reposition my thought process, and why can't I do that? Or you have never tried, so why are you just saying I can't? Your attitude is always I can do that. So why can't you? So just like you're saying, 5 minutes, and just try and take it slow. Just like if you're ever even just going to the gym for the first time, you're not going to able to go and fly right in there and just doing a full hour set and then be consistent at it. Like it takes time. You have to change your mind thoughts and just show up and try to do something that makes you feel comfortable too.
Exactly. And I love to use the example of the gym too. It's like, especially at the beginning of the year, right? Like all of these New Year's intentions, I'm going to do this. And we often like set the standard way too high for ourselves and we make it impossible to reach. And then we just feel like a failure if we're not reaching these unrealistic expectations. So it's like baby steps, one step at a time, you'll get there. There's no rush. This is the other thing. We want to see the results now. It's like, slow down. The results will come through patience and practice.
Yes. And I just kind of talking on society on that point, though, a little bit more. We on social media or society as a whole, we're just expected to get there like yesterday if we just started today, which is unrealistic. Just like building a business, it doesn't happen overnight. Rome wasn't in a day, like they say. And so why do we put this kind of pressure on ourselves? Because look at the masses, it's society as a whole, unfortunately. We're kind of stuck in that queue, and then social media doesn't help as well.
No. Yeah, I hear you. And it's nobody's fault. It's because of the society that we were raised in, right? So breaking those habits is going to take time. And that's essentially what it is, right? It's unlearning to relearn, which again is going to take time. So
yes, I know I say to my husband, I was like, I'm going to start meditating. He's like, okay, you do that. I'm like, I will.
I will. You watch me. I love that.
But I know one of the conversations we're going to talk about today, because I was just looking at the time. I knew time was going to fly by so fast.
Yeah.
How can someone manifest real change in their life?
Yeah. Okay. I love the topic of manifestation because who doesn't love manifestation, right? Like creating your reality, like that's so fun. I love talking about it. But I want to talk about it from a more, I think, like grounded standpoint, because I think in the spiritual community, they talk about, manifestation, like your thoughts create your reality. Just think positively, have your vision board and And I'm not telling you those things are bad, right? Like have your vision board. Absolutely. But what I realized, a lot of people manifest from a place of ego. What they think their life should look like. You know what I mean? For example, I want to manifest $1 million, it's like, okay, why? Why do you want to manifest $1 million? What is the money going to do for you? Right? Because that's probably why you're wanting to manifest in the money. It's what it's going to do. Is it going to give you the opportunity to travel? Is that what you want to do? Do you want time freedom? Is that what you want? So when it comes to really manifesting your dream reality, what I like to tell people is to let go of what they think they want. Release that, surrender that to God, source, the universe, because remember, God has a plan for you already. You chose what your life's going to look like before coming down here. Your higher self already knows what that path looks like. The ego, right? We all have the ego. It's a necessary part of this human experience. I always talk about you wanting to befriend the ego. It's not your enemy, but it's not letting the ego be in the driver's seat. You want the ego to be in your passenger seat. You want your soul to be in the driver's seat. So it's surrendering what you think you want. And I really talk about healing. Like start focusing on you, start falling in love with yourself, start focusing on your healing journey, because essentially to manifest your most fulfilling timeline, you need to align energetically with whatever that may be. How do you align with that? It's raising your vibration, right? Raising your frequency. Our soul is love at the end of the day. That's who we are. Our soul is love, and love is the highest frequency. So the more you get to know yourself, the more you're able to align with the energy of love, you're going to be raising your frequency, which then is going to make you a magnet for everything that you want. So how do you do that? It's by letting go of energetic baggage that is weighing you down. It's not about being positive all the time. In the spiritual community, they talk about just be positive because your thoughts create your reality. And a lot of people fear these negative emotions. And you don't want to fear these negative emotions. When you heal, as we were talking about before, it's like going back on these old wounds. It's giving yourself the permission to feel what you need to feel, because the body stores everything. When you're able to feel these things and work through these things, release these things, you will energetically be releasing that from your body. That's energetic weight that has been weighing you down that you're able to release. And when you release that, your base frequency, your average frequency is going to rise. It's not about, again, just being positive all the time, because yes, your frequency might rise a little bit. It might dip a little bit from day to day, depending on your mood, depending on the environment, depending on what's going on around you. But essentially to align with your heart's desires is to raise your base frequency. So by focusing on healing, literally by focusing on the healing, let go of what you think you want. Because I'm telling you right now, what I thought I wanted is not actually what my soul was desiring. What I thought I wanted was ego, thinking like, oh, when I have this, then I'll be happy. When I have this and this, then I'll be successful. Then I can live the life that I want. So when you're able to surrender that, focus on your healing, you're going to be raising your base frequency. And when you raise your base frequency, you're going to be aligning yourself with your heart's truest desires. And you'll find that you are a magnet for those things to just start entering your life. You'll be a magnet. It'll just start coming in for you. So I don't know. And to me, that's how I like to explain manifestation. Like manifestation, the way they talk about it in the spiritual community, I think is a little skewed. It comes from like an egoic place, like create your life. It's like, okay, but does that make sense how I'm like trying to explain that?
Yeah. I know we also talked prior to the show. We actually chatted in July. So that I'm like remembering our conversations about intuition and ego a bit. And how can people differentiate between their intuition and their voice through ego? Kind of like going for the...
Yeah, this is another thing that's going to take time, right? It's really starting to understand like, okay, yeah, what is the voice of my ego? What is the voice of my intuition? And know that again, time and practice. Meditation is big because when you're able to silence the mind, essentially, like I like to associate the mind with the ego, and your soul, your heart with your intuition. The mind is always going, and the ego is a necessary part of this human experience. It's here to keep us safe. The ego just wants to keep you safe at the end of the day. It wants what's best for you, but being too much in the mind can prevent you from actually getting to where you want to go. So it's really differentiating the two first. And how do you do that is stillness, because often the egoic voice is the louder voice. It's the voice that's right there. It's the voice that almost feels urgent. It's the voice that, often is more logical. I'm not telling you to completely get rid of logic, but it's more logical. Like, for example, going back to my example, when I felt called to quit teaching, my ego, the loud voice was like, you can't do that. You've worked so hard for this. You finally got your dream teaching position. What are you doing, Brittany? Like, you don't know if you're going to get regular readings. And that was a fear-based voice, right? It was a voice of fear because it wanted to keep me safe. It didn't want to see me fail. But when I stilled and quieted my voice, it's often like the quieter voice, the voice of the soul will come through. And that voice will often give you a sense of peace, even if it makes no sense at all. Quitting was still scary for me, but even though I was scared because I didn't actually know what would result in it. But I felt a sense of peace because I knew that was what I needed to do, if that makes sense. I have like a whole deep dive on the ego on my YouTube channel. So for those listening, it's like over an hour. So if you're like really interested in learning more about that, you might need to go back on my videos because it's down in my videos somewhere, but I have a whole deep dive on the ego. I talk about it quite a lot on there. So I definitely recommend listening to that. But in short, the egoic voice is often loud. It feels urgent. It feels rushed. Your intuition is the quieter voice. And there's often a sense of peace that will come along with that voice, if that makes sense, even if what it's telling you to do is scary. Does that make sense how I'm trying to articulate that?
Yes. Yeah. It just made me think of like so many different scenarios too in my life. Like, yes. Okay. I see that part as an ego and the other part of intuition too. Just even too, like, this year is for me, I'm like, because usually I just go like right into January. I'm like, let's go hard. Let's do all these things, let's do the networking, let's do all these things. And for December, for example, too, I took it off. I was like, you know what? That's why no one saw me. Everyone listening or watching us, I didn't come in for December because my gut was like, you need to take this time. So, and then even too for January, I was like, you know what? I need to take January too. So I you could just slowly into it. And I was like, and start of February, slowly to ease into it. But before you know it, in March, you're going to be full in and just let this of healing and inner shifts that are happening right now, just let it be and just take the time to self-reflect. And I don't know why, but that's what I've been like telling myself lately. And I was like, let's just do it.
Yeah. Yes, I love that. And yeah, you should be really proud of yourself because it's not easy. It's not easy to let go, especially when like you have an idea of what things are supposed to be look like, especially when you have an idea of what things should look like, right? Often the ego likes to control, it's used to it. Again, it wants to keep you safe at the end of the day. And I feel like especially in the spiritual community, the ego is demonized and I don't think it should be. You want to befriend your ego. You want to understand it. You want to understand the quote unquote dark sides of you. It's like, okay, why am I this way? And the key is in the awareness, right? If you are unaware, then the ego is going to be in the driver's seat driving you around. But once you start to get curious about it, when you want to befriend it, when you want to understand it, then you'll be at a place where you're like, okay, I hear you. I thank you. Like, thank you for wanting to protect me. I understand, but we got this, like we got this. You could like, we're safe, essentially, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I find it really hard too because the scarcity comes in. So like January, I'm just going to put this in perspective for like a business owner, any business owners, entrepreneurs listening. It's hard because you need to make money. And so scarcity mindset steps in and you need to go in and do all these networking calls to get people to come into your door to sign you up.
Yeah.
And so that's usually why I go really hard, really fast, because the scarcity mindset has triggered me so much. Like you're saying, the ego has really helped. That was in a way to protect me. So we're not just flatlining. And this year, like I was saying, like, I'm just like, you know what? Let's not do that this year. After doing this for years, let's just see what happens.
Let's shake it up a little bit. Let's change things. Yeah. Exactly. I love that. And it could feel uncomfortable, but that's where growth happens, right? It's outside of the comfort zone. So it's like lean into it. I like to tell people to lean into the discomfort, lean into it. In society today, it's like we're uncomfortable. Oh, let's slap a Band-Aid on it. Let's take the symptoms away so that you're not uncomfortable. It's like, if you're willing to lean into that discomfort, you will transform in more ways than you think.
Yes. And I can feel it. It's weird. And I've never like so much like in alignment and so much more of like, you got this in the past years of ever doing this. And I'm just kind of like, let's just ride the wave. Let's just see what happens.
Let's ride the wave. I love that. Just go with the flow. Yeah. Surrender. It's easier said than done.
It is easier said than done. I'm a perfectionist. I'm like, all the things type A, like all the things you can probably name. And so it's really hard just to kind of like have that switch.
Yeah, it's getting curious about that. And with no judgment, where does this perfectionism within me come from? Does it come because as a child, I needed to portray this sense of, perfect in order to get love from my parents, for example, and it's in those little things. When I talk about reflecting, it's stuff like that. It's like, okay, why do I feel the need to be perfect all the time? Where does this come from? Because those are the things that are really limiting you, or, blocks people talk about, right? So it's like when you're really able to kind of get into the nooks and crannies, for lack of a better word, and just become aware of why you are the way you are, why you feel the need to be perfect or whatever it may be. I'm just using that as an example because you brought it up, right? But it's things that people don't think about. It's like they don't think they need to reflect on it. It's like, get curious about it, because you are the way you are for a reason, not for no reason. And often it stems from past experience. So it's in the understanding and in the awareness of the why, that's when true change can actually happen.
100%. Like just perfectionist for me, like is a combo effect. I would say definitely like the parents of divorce, only child, and then having dyslexia, not knowing what that really truly meant, even in being in the school system and being labeled like you're stupid, you're dumb, and just having to show up to prove that I can be a straight A list or whichever. I don't even know. Schools changing nowadays don't have A lists.
Yeah, it's different now, but so it's diving into all of those things again, like with not from a judgmental place, but a lot of people, we base our worth on these things, right? Like I'm not worthy unless I'm perfect. I am not, and this is subconscious, right? It's not that people consciously think this, but these are subconscious. It's like we base our worth on our success, how much money we make, the type of job that we have, and when you're able to like push past that, again, that'll open up so many doors for you.
was the whole premise too of the radio show, Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. The whole premise
Mm-hmm.
too was that we are all worthy of whatever
Mm-hmm.
we want to pursue in life. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter of your age, gender, whatsoever.
Yeah.
Don't look back and just do it, because
Yeah.
life is so short and you're going to regret things that you maybe didn't do yesterday or the day before. And we've seen, I've been seeing so many people from high school just pass suddenly from cancer and all these things. And it's just kind of like,
whoa.
Life, it just kind of puts more into perspective, really, I guess, of like, wow, life really is short.
Life is the gift. Life is the gift. And we've forgotten that. It is a gift to have a body, to be experiencing this reality. It is a gift. But we've forgotten that because we're so sucked into the day-to-day, the 9 to 5, the busy. You know what I mean? We forget how much of a gift this life is. People often feel like they need to do more to be successful. And I'm like, start doing less. Start slowing down. Doing nothing is productive. And it really will, switching that perspective, it will really help you see, like, we're supposed to enjoy this life. We're here to enjoy, to learn, to explore, to feel the highs and the lows, right? Like, we're not only supposed to be experiencing joy all the time. If there was only joy, we wouldn't really know what it is, because we wouldn't know any different. So, even regardless of what you're experiencing, know that experience is a gift, even if it's a difficult experience. This too shall pass. And does that make sense? It's like all of it is a gift. And it's like the more you can embrace that, the more you'll get out of this experience.
I love that. Like everything that you just said. I find too, I would say, I was an angry person sometimes, of just holding on to the things of well, why did that happen to me? Or just the spiral effect that sometimes we get into. And I would say being an entrepreneur has made me, I guess, in a way whole, but then a way of reflecting that I probably wouldn't have even had in a way of a 9 to 5, because I was so into a box, I felt like.
And you talk about anger. I'd like to touch on that really quickly. We're often shamed of our anger. Like a kid is angry, go to your room. Anger is an emotion like any other emotion. We're meant to express our anger, and there is so much suppressed anger in this world that it ends up becoming displaced. I'm not telling you to project your anger onto other people, but feel that, for things that have happened to you in the past, feel that anger. Don't spiritually bypass, sometimes you go through a hard thing. It's easy to say, oh, everything happens for a reason. And it's like, yes, but you're here to experience this human experience. As a human, we have emotions that we're meant to feel. It's a part of being here and living this gift that we call life. So anger, I could talk about this all day. So many of us suppress our anger. We see it in men, how it's often, and I'm stereotyping here, but often in men, it's displaced. This is why, when people are drunk, they get into fights and stuff like that. Women often mistaken anger for sadness because they don't know how to express their anger, because, again, we're shamed as kids to feel this anger. So that's something else I just wanted to touch on. Lean into your anger. There's nothing wrong with being angry for what's happened to you in the past. Feel that anger so that you can release it. It's like any other emotion. You have to feel it so that you can release it and free yourself from it. Don't hold on to it. That's only going to result in illness or whatever, down the line. But there's so much suppressed anger. It becomes displaced, and it's caused so much more harm. It's like you want to channel that anger, like anger rituals or whatever you can do, like scream into a pillow, do stuff like that. It is so healthy and liberating. So yeah, just a little side thing, because you talked about anger. So
yeah, no, I love that. And it's so true about, I have a little boy. And so I'm just in society too, because I know we can have a full discussion on this, but as a boy mom, I'm always like, oh, I want to make sure that he can show up and show his feelings, because boys don't cry. It's that stereotypical saying, and really at the end of the day, who cares if they cry? How do we change those narratives? So men kids, boys, can go through those emotions, because it is, we all have the crying moments to the anger moment. How can we show up and show emotion?
Yeah, it's like holding space when you see it arise within your kid. It's just like holding the space for them to feel it, like let them feel what they need to feel. It'll move through them, it'll pass. And then it's just talking about it, understanding it. It's like, okay, where did that come from? Like, okay, just getting curious about it. It's just helping them, because, kids are unable to like regulate their nervous system on their own. It's like they need adults to help teach them. But unfortunately, with the society we live in, there's so many adults who don't have a regulated nervous system within their own self. So how are they supposed to teach their kids how to regulate their nervous system if they don't even know how to? This is where generational trauma, it's like, it's passed down. And this is what we're breaking currently. A lot of people, in the spiritual community, they talk about breaking generational cycles, curses, whatever it is, whatever title you want to put on it. But it's holding the space for it. We're meant to feel the emotions, and kids they can't regulate on their own. It's a part of their growing up. It's learning how to do it. So when these big emotions come up for them, it's making them feel safe to express whatever that emotion is. That's not getting confused with like, hurting other people. It's let them feel it, express it however they need to express it, let it pass through them, and then teaching them like, okay, let's breathe together, things that, breathing, taking a nice breath will help regulate your nervous system. So it's like teaching them those tools. But you got to learn how to do it for yourself first in order to be able to teach your kids how to do that. So it starts with you.
100%.
Or within, I should say.
I was just watching this TikTok. So just to put it even further you wouldn't ask me to go build a house and see what I can do, because at the end of the day, I wouldn't even know how to even build a house. So just like with your emotions, kids need to be taught how to go through those emotions, just like you want to be taught how to build a house and how to process things I just watched this TikTok like a few minutes before we even went on. So it's so funny that you brought that up, because I was like, because that's also what I'm doing too, is breaking down those barriers for myself. There's certain things I do. I'm like, oh, well, could have probably did that differently, but I'm very self-aware, which is good. So how do I take this?
And we're not exactly. We're not perfect. You know what I mean? Like nobody's perfect. We're going to mess up, and that's a part of it too. So it's like not judging yourself for, if you don't show up perfect or whatever it may be. I love that you saw that video before this though. No coincidences. Right? I like to say there's no such thing as a coincidence. Yeah.
Love it. We're almost at time. Is there any last minute thoughts you want to share with the listeners, viewers?
Yeah, what's coming to mind is I encourage you to, I just want to say, listen to that inner voice. Listen to that inner voice. Even if you don't know where it's taking you, you don't need to know where it's taking you. The path will show itself to you. Lean into surrender, let go, try to let go of the control, and just pursue where that inner voice, where your heart is guiding you, because that will lead you to your most fulfilling life, for lack of a better word. Let go of what you think you need to do, and just let the path reveal itself to you with time. Again, patience.
Love that. I want to make sure that everyone knows where to find you. I'm just going to make sure I put this in the banner. So we have your YouTube channel at Brittany Bento. So Brittany with an A.
Yes, Brittany.
And same for TikTok, and then Instagram's slightly different. With the 3 at the end. So Brittany,
it's at Brittany Bento with a 3. Brittany Bento was already taken, so I needed to like add my favorite number in there. So, and just really quick, if I could say, there's a lot of fake accounts out there. For those listening, if you give me a follow, please be very mindful of like the scam accounts. There will be people that will reach out to you, ask you for money. That's not me. Okay, I know a lot of people that have gotten scammed. It might sound silly, but like I just always feel like I need to add that disclaimer. I will never reach out or ask you for money. So just be very mindful of like the username, because it'll be like one extra T in there. It's like you don't necessarily like really see it, but
oh, well, I'm sorry that you have individuals out there pretending to be you.
Yeah, it is what it is, you know.
But highly recommend also going over on TikTok because that's where I found you from. So I enjoy your content over there, and we're still live. Well, we're based in Canada, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, it's back in the U.S. now, so it was like banned for like a few hours or something.
12 hours, but it was all quiet because seeing all the Canadians and the Australians come together.
Yeah, I saw a few of those videos.
So it's quite entertaining. But thank you so much, Brittany, for coming on today. And a big thank you to United Public Radio Network. For those just tuning in, please come back in for next week. We have a guest as well. With that, everyone, please remember that your journey is unique and your worth is unquestionable. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.